Good morning everyone, it's Corrine here and welcome to my channel. For those of you that join me just about every day at the moment, thank you. I love reading your comments and having little chats with you. It's just awesome that we're all on this journey together, so I'm just having an absolute ball with it. So you're probably getting nearly 2 videos a day at the moment because I'm doing Junk Journal July, which is the getting ready a Japanese journal for a future Japanese tour that I may do. Nothing booked, just in ever hope. So it's a long story. If you're watching the Japanese series, thank you for sort of flipping into the patchwork slash, not patchwork, fabric slash scrapbooking world. But of course the journal of stitchery is very much fabric orientated. So I just wanted to show you what I've done. It's Sunday morning and last night my friend come over, Marianne, and we didn't get as much done in the sewing side of things as we like because we decided to make pumpkin scones basically. I went up to my parents' farm and visited Dad and brought back a heap of his veggies that he grows and 3 pumpkins, which is a lot for my husband and I. So I said to Marianne, let's whip up a big batch of pumpkin scones, throw them in the freezer, excuse me. And that sort of took all night by the time we mucked around and chatted. So I haven't yet gone through my doilies, which was my next job, to sort through my precious doilies that I don't craft with and pull some out suitable for this book. So I thought I'd do that with you guys. But before I do, I did a little bit of work on the shirt that I'm going to use. I'm just going to bring the camera out a bit so you can see it. So in the last video, I decided that I was going to create a closure using this linen shirt. And I pretty much cut the top and worked out that it'll fit on my concertina book nicely as a wrap. Okay, like what Sarah did in her closure on top of her first journal. So it's all ready to go, but what I did do is I decided to cut it again in the back here. And the reason for that is I don't really know the width of spine that my journal will end up being, but I really want to get started on creating something on this piece. So I've stitched inside a piece of felt. I buy it by the meter at Spotlight. It's nice and soft, and I put it on the back of a lot of my embroideries that are really soft fabrics. It just, I don't know, it sort of gives me something to hang on to. It's a little bit more stable. We'll make it a lot bulkier, but I don't mind because I like my pieces to be quite textured. So I've just lined up that edge to the buttons and just did some invisible stitch down there, across the top, across the bottom, so it's now attached. Now I've made that quite large, so this too could be cut and a piece taken out of it if we need to reduce it in size, because at the moment it's, you know, way too big. Let's say the buttons are there and we come around and these buttons join up to there. Well, we've got that much that could be spine, which might be perfect. So let's say it's perfect. Well, that just means I need to put stitching through here, which I can. If I need to cut it and take a little bit out, I can, and then stitch over it. So I've given myself a bit of wriggle room on the back here, but at least now I can start, let me put that out of the way. I can start adding snippets of bits and pieces to this. And as I sort of create all these stitcheries, I'm getting bits. I'm just leaning over like that. So what I'm going to do is just start laying them down and just stitch them down. If you're going to do a snippet roll enclosure, my biggest advice is forget about the whole space and only focus on a little square. Say, where's a business card? Maybe 2 business cards on top of each other. Only stitch in that area, because what will happen is because this is so big, it will be overwhelming. Absolutely overwhelming. I need to grab a snippet roll. Hold that thought. Back in a moment. Okay. What I mean is when we started the snippet roll project with Anne Brooks, all I could think about was I had, 90 centimetres roughly, nearly a metre of space to fill. And I was like, oh, where do I start? Where do I start? And the first thing I did was I pieced down all of my scrap fabrics before I did any embellishing. I just laid them down. So that sort of at least gave me a bit of a colour wash across the fabric. So I will be moving through that reasonably quickly, I think, because I'm going to have lots of bits and pieces left. But the embellishing stage, just focus on a little space, because what'll happen is you'll have such a wash of colour in front of you because it's so big, and it just won't get that detail you need. When you start focusing, let's pretend it's only this big, you'll put beads and lace and buttons, and you will make that so thick with goodies, it'll look amazing by the time you do the lot. Now this piece here, I envision this not actually being finished by Christmas. That's how much work I think will be in this, which is to me fantastic, because I can pull this out next year, take the cover off and go again, which I think is just awesome. So this will be a project that will be able to be played with, next year, which, yeah, is great. I'm just going to, what do I do with that little check piece? I've got some little bits in here, I think, already on the red. Maybe it's the blue. Just having a look through the box that has all the reds in it. No, I don't have many scraps by the looks of it. Yeah, okay. Bad example. The blue one does have, there's my check piece. So, yeah, there's one scrap already. Let's cut that and put it into position. So you can sort of see how you go about building this, and don't try and do it all in one hit, because I think we're going to go on such a journey with the girls. There will be all sorts of things come our way in the way of scraps. So there you go. That's all I've done, is lay them down, and I will then, when I'm stitching one of my blocks, pick it up and drop some white running stitch or burrow stitch over it, so then it's down. And then as soon as I get some more bits, another bit, another bit, another bit. As soon as I do 2 business cards worth of space, I will then start adding in any snippets that are left from a project. Let's say there's a bit of this lace left, just like I didn't need 2 of those little scallops. Down they go. I've got a little red bow that's lying here that's from the first red panel. Stitch it down. Don't overthink it, just put it down. And you'll find that it'll just sort of evolve in front of you. If you make a flower or, I don't know, let's say you're doing a holly or something like that in a future project, cut a few extra leaves and just put them towards this piece, and you could have then a little bit of holly, and it'll appear later on in the journal. So this piece, I guess I'm trying to say this snippet roll, is a future, a view of what's coming in the book. Now I'll just show you this close up. So you can see how I've got a little bit of green lace, a couple yo-yos, a few buttons, the odd bead, a couple little flowers, another bit of lace, put a bow on. See how random it is? And it just sort of comes together as a design element. There was a pale spot, so I just put a couple X's there. These are fantastic, and you could literally create probably 6 of these and just have them ready to go, that whenever you do a project for someone or a quilt or whatever and you've got scraps, you just add them and it just slowly grows and grows and grows. These are like a catalogue of your craft room. So something to have a think about getting started on the snippet rolls. I think if you put in hashtag Anne Brooks snippet roll, you might find this project. It was a few years ago, And I think this was when I first found Anne, and I just had so many scraps, and it just sucked them all away. It was just fantastic. So I think to revisit the snippet roll as my closure will be awesome. The other thing I did, which I thought I'd better mention, is because I've cut my blouse, I left this open. Now what I'm thinking, let's say I want to do a Christmas tree embroidery in it, just a little one. I want the ability to be able to sketch it a little on paper and then slide the paper in under and trace it onto my fabric or a bird, or, you know, and I think by having this hole allows me to get right through to the whole piece. What I mean, does that make sense? Let's say I want to do a little Christmas tree embroidered. Oh, that's shocking. Let's say that's it. I can sketch it and place it under there, and then trace it onto my fabric, and then I'm ready to stitch and add it. If you can't access that because you didn't have this cut, there's no reason why you couldn't put that on a separate piece of fabric, and then it's just part of the, you know, snippet adventure. It would just literally slide in and away you go again. You may have some stitcheries from a previous project that you may not have finished, a Christmas project. You might want to bring that into this project. At least they've found a home, so to speak. Okay, now I think that's all I wanted to say about my closure for Red Book using the blouse. If you're just tuned in, go back one video and I'll show you there how I sort of cut that little blouse down to become part of my closure for this, not Red Book. Hey, hold the horse. This is going to be blue, not red. I bet you were screaming at the camera because, yeah. So, oh, okay. Hold the phone. Let me grab my snippets of blue, which I have quite a few. Excellent. Okay, so this is a blue snippet roll. I've got everything in these little cases, so when I pick up my blue project, everything I've used so far, or plan to, or just like, is in this little box. I've got my felt and some lace that I think sort of fit. I found that yesterday. I thought maybe that could be included. I've never worked with this type of thing. I remember making a tag with the Anne Books project where we had to thread beads and make a fringe out of beads. It was painful. I only created, you know, that much, and it took hours and hours. And I've seen this for sale around the place, and I've always thought, oh yeah, someone must do that. My goodness, never again. I'll be buying that going forward. Now I've got snippets here. I had them all together like a good girl. There they are. No lace snippets yet. There's my puppy dog, Bandit. Okay, all right, so now, so I've got a bit more I can play with. That's exciting. Let's have a look. Let's tidy this up. So this video is actually going to be about the doilies that I dug out of the cupboard last night. I got sidetracked with making scones, so I didn't actually go through them. So I just popped them on my craft desk and thought tomorrow. So I thought I'll turn on the camera and we'll sort through them, finding doilies suitable for my Red Book. Okay, so just place them down. My puppy dog is playing with Pepper, the other one. So I do apologise for the woofing that's going on in the background. I love that paisley. I might move that up there. Sort of once you get started, just sort of happens with a bit of jiggling. Way more scraps in the blue, which is good. I've now got a home for these little random pieces. I've been watching the quilts they make out of fabric in India. I think they're called camphor quilts. I think that's the right way to say the word. Oh my goodness, that's a rabbit hole. So I'm dying to have a go at that, but I think I've got enough on my plate with Christmas. And I think that extra sewing would really put my fingers and joints under pressure because things are getting tender. I had a Friday, I did a lot of stitching, and I was using a needle that really is for beads, but it was so long and fine that it just made my work really quick. But I jabbed myself 3 times in my finger, and it is so tender. Yesterday I couldn't even pick up a needle because it was just so sore. So I was thinking, boy, if I go and start another project other than what I'm doing here, I'm gonna hurt myself. So it's best I just, let me just look out the window and see what's going on. These dogs, oh, they're so rough. He's like 4 months, going on 15, and Pepper, now I've just got attitude. Did you hear that? Goodness me. Yeah, and Pepper's 18 months. So they're just so rambunctious, and they've had their breakfast and now they're playing, and oh, it looks so rough, but I'm sure they'll survive. But boy, I don't know. Now I'm creating scraps here. There we go. That's probably enough of the area. Otherwise it just gets too much. I might stick that under there. Okay. So there we go. I've got about 2 business cards worth of the space covered. So that's good. Yeah, that's good. So there we go. And now I'll just stitch it all down so the background is starting to grow. And then as I find things or create things, bows, ribbons, buttons, beads, whatever, I'll come behind and just start sort of clustering them and putting them down and bits of lace. And yeah, so that's the process for my snippet roll closure for my blue book, which is the Advent Calendar book. Let's see if that looks cool. Yeah, that'll be gorgeous. It'll nearly look patchworky and yeah, texture, and oh, it's going to look really cool. Very good. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. So the reason I'll actually turn the video on is I really want, let me put this blue away because I was sure it was going to be red, that thing. Anyway, let's put the blue box away. And that. Now, my red book, as discussed, I'm going to have my embroidery pieces. Oh, I did take it out of blue book and attach that to the front. So the second reindeer piece is my cover. It was going to be my title page, but it looks so good on the cover that that's where it's going. So I've got my cover sorted. My tag is here. That will go on the spine, so that's ready to go. And I've torn a few pieces ready to make the blocks as the girls give us the prompts. So they're organised. And I had the one doily that is ready pinned in. So I just wanted to go through my doily pile and just eliminate any that are too big, just not any good. And yeah, just get them off my desk and put them back in the cupboard. So that's a definite. And I like this one because I'll be able to separate those and use them where space is small. you know, just overlap. I'll do that now. Some of these in this pile, like these are my treasures. Some might be purchased ones because my mum was of the era that in the 70s, mass production of doilies started to pop up everywhere. So I will have to sort of have a good look at them all and decide whether they, so I'll put the ones that are definites to stay up the top here and the ones that are rejected onto the floor. And I'll move the book. This one's a good one. This was a project that someone has done, I don't know what family member, where they had to do a little sampler. But my question is, do I really want to break that down? Probably not. Maybe that needs to just stay in its entirety. Yeah. I don't think, look at that. They've had to crochet little ones and make a feature. So I'm going to keep that one as it is. I'm not going to break that one down. And some of them do feel mass produced like that one does. I might be wrong. Might be a little, yeah, I don't know. Goodness me. How do you really tell, to be honest? They feel like they're like the 70s. Oh yeah, that, look at that. That's a snowflake. If I've ever seen it, that's a keeper. This one's definitely a made one, but too big for my project book. So I'm sort of looking for smaller ones, unless I do break it down. Oh, that's a handmade one. That's got potential. Will it fit? Yeah. That's probably as big as I'd want. I'm happy to have little bits hanging out. So that's a definite. He's found a home. Oh, yeah. I do need my book in front of me, so I can just drop it on to check sizing. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a keeper. Little edge, that's a keeper. Don't know about that one. I don't know. You might recognise some of these patterns. Sort of feel like, I don't know. It's probably a bit big anyway. Yeah, that's classic. That one there, I just don't know. Could be. My grandmother was very good at crocheting, so like that's a classic. It's a shame that it's not red. Would work in my blue book, but I don't really need crocheting too much in that, and I wouldn't want to cut it up, so I'll keep that. A pink one, no, it's just not going to work. That's a good size. Look at that, how fine it is. I'll keep it out, but I think it's too big. But I might be able to fold it and create a pocket, or, you know, fold it in half and create a pocket on a page. If the girls make, you know, suggest a journal card or something that requires somewhere to sit, I could use that as a pocket. That one, oh, it's a bit whoopy. Another little blue one, another little white one that would fit. Another one of those. So they're obviously handmade because I've got two, looks like a set. There's probably a big rectangular one somewhere. What's that? Says something. SCOW or MS? Who knows? Oh, that's pretty. That's got potential. That's got potential. Oh, look at that one. Little oblong. Great. Don't know about that one. It's a bit big, but it's got potential. We'll put it in the pile. No, I don't like that. Okay, so we got a little bit of embroidery here. These would have been pieces my mum did. This is one I did. I was in primary school. We had to pull the threads out. Gee, that's bodgy work. Oh, goodness. Look at that blanket stitch. That's shocking. See, now that's in trend now. We can do messy stitch like that, but I bet the teacher was like not impressed. I don't know. I probably was grade 5 when I did that. My lazy daisy is good. My stem stitch, yes, very good. 10 out of 10. But that edge is terrible. Absolute terrible. And I've done a hemming stitch around the edge, turned it over and hemmed it, and they are like dog's teeth. Oh, I would have been pretty young when I did this. I hope I was. Would explain the poor quality. We'll just put that back in the cupboard. Can't believe I just showed you that. That is dodgy. Oh, that's pretty. That's definitely a grandma. Oh, I know, this one. This used to amaze me as a kid. Look at that. That's grandma. Wow. I'd never, ever, ever cut that up. That's just a bit special. Some of them, they all look similar. You know, there's just those patterns that seem to pop up everywhere. That's got potential. That's got potential. I don't know. That might be machine. These I'd say are machine. That. Probably that, but I don't know. I've got to go have a look through the patterns that I got from Grandma. I got, you know, a stack that's about 3 inches tall. And if this style of crocheting is in there, then she made them, or at least maybe her mother. But I'm just not sure on this style. It's got a name too. I just have a feeling it's machine made. You can see there's a bit of a pattern there that's, I don't know, the fact that there's 3 different colours, maybe it is, but the pattern books will tell me if I find a pattern. Yep. These are just too big. They're folded in half. Too big. Got a star. As you can see, she did a lot of crocheting. And I've only got a snippet of what was left that she kept. The family, you know, every time you went to visit Grandma, if you liked something, she'd just give you some doilies. I wish I had it collected earlier in the piece, because who knows where all these doilies are. Now, this pack is full of gear as well, but when I got married, my hen's party was a lace party. Go figure. It was a bit of a trend then that you would have a lace party and get linens for your new home that was coming as you were getting married. So I had this kitchen tea that was based all around tablecloths and doilies and things. So I'm half expecting that in here everything is machine made, but there might be pieces that I've picked up and just popped in there as somewhere to keep. Like in Grandma's cupboard were all of these unfinished embroideries. So they're in my one-day pile. There's another one. Remember these? Oh, brings back memories where it was printed on the linen for us, and all we had to do was just stitch it all together. How pretty is that? It's the Waratah. There's another one. Goodness me. That nearly looks Christmassy. Paisley. Printed in America. Is there a date? No. Gorgeous. I don't think I'll ever get it all done. I'm going to need a million lifetimes for all of this. That is no good. That's no good. See what I mean by these tablecloths in the pack. So they're no good. They're just heirlooms to keep, but they're very much 80s. I didn't think there'd be much in here. Oh, there's a couple little ones. See, they're mass produced. They'd be from that party. That's not. That's an heirloom. I might pull that out, put it over there. That's all mass produced. Placemats. They were everywhere around my house when we first got married. See, this is all mass produced. This tatting look. A lot of that I've been cutting up because it's popping up in all the op shops now. But I'll keep that. That's a set that I would have purchased that night. So I'll keep that. And I like that colour. It's a big one. That's not part of the party. That's a grandma. That's that classic pineapple. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's a grandma. That is grandma. Some of those. I just don't know about that one. It's well used. I was going to say it's grandma, but it could be, I don't know. That's definitely a handmade one by grandma. So put that in the pile. Mass produced. Mass produced. Yeah. Grandma would have never used a cotton that thick. She would have thought that was just atrocious. Doilies are meant to be gentle and soft, fine, a needle. Like you show your skill by how fine your crochet hook is and your thread. So that's why this is dead giveaway that it's mass produced. This one here is mass produced and I used that so much when we were first married. It's a big long runner and I had a buffet and I used it all the time. If I found one of these in the op shop, and they'd have to be out there, I'd be cutting it all up, but I won't cut my own up. I'll keep that because I've got good memories attached to that. That's just a piece of linen. Look, it's picked up the stain from the lace it's sitting on. That's a shame. Oh well. And they are mass produced. They're everywhere now in op shops. They were like placemats, matching tablecloths. They're good to cut up. But I won't keep that. Okay, so that's it in there. I didn't think there'd be much in that because that's so 80s. But I did poke in a few things that are grandma, so just too big for this project. And all of this, like they could be grandma. Just feels too thick. Okay, so I pop this back. So I do have others around, but they're ones that I've got from op shops, so I don't really want to delve into them. I think I'll have enough. So I've just put this. This is like a linen wrap. It came from that party because I was the hostess. It's pretty much a piece of calico that they put a trim on, the second trim and a pocket this end, and there is a little tie here and over here. So you wrap your linen up in this enclosure, and then you've got two little ties to sort of keep it all together. It's a really good idea for storing your doilies, but this was like the hostess gift. Okay. There we go. So that's all secured now to some degree. So it gets a little pocket here for some little bits and pieces, and it just wraps around the whole bundle of lace. So if you wanted something to store all your doilies, there's an idea for you. Should measure it and see how big it is. If anyone wants to know how big that is to hold the doilies and you want to make one, just drop a message to me in the comments and I'll put the measurements in there. Okay, so we've definitely got some bits and pieces that we can use. So where was that little one that I cut? It'll turn up. So all I'm going to do, oh, listen to those pups play. Talk about energy. just fiddling around here. They might all be a bit big. That one's not too bad. I might put him on and then I'll lift this guy up. Do you hear that? That's dogs running. They'll be asleep in 10 minutes. They'll just be asleep. It's all energy now. And then the puppies just crash. I can see my plants going crazy out there as they're running between them all. A feral dog, that pup. There we go. I've just pinned it. So what I'll do then is just go through and stitch down those pieces. Goodness me. You probably can't hear them. So that's good if you can't, but I bet you can. Okay, so that's that page. So that would have a embroidery piece on it. So then I've got potential to put something on this one. That's so pretty, but I don't think that's made. No, that's machine. Where's some of these little fine ones? It's nearly too big. That one's a good one. Need some really small ones. I don't think that's made either. I'm going to get rid of those two. I think my doilies are too big. This is quite a challenge to try and get them to fit. Might have to go digging further to find some more treasures. I definitely want to do something with this one, so I'm going to pin it. It's going to have a home there, and maybe when I go back up to the farm and have a look through Mum's collection, there might be some more there that I can bring back, because I don't think Dad's going to be too concerned about doilies. Okay, so that'll be something. So I'll just turn the page over. Yep, that's good. Pop that there. So that in there will be something. Definitely want to put that one in. Look at that. So I'll just pin it. Oh, beautiful. I'm sure snowflakes will pop up as a theme, so this might be a good spot to have the block all about snowflakes, and then sitting on the opposite page is a snowflake inspired doily. I've actually, last night, as I said, my friend was over and we were baking pumpkin scones, and I dug out my book that has 101 crocheted snowflakes in it. So we went through all my cottons and found some suitable cotton, some crocheting cotton, because she does a lot of crocheting and I just won't have time to make them. And I really want to show you the book and some of the snowflakes out of them, and I plan to starch them out of ribbon and pop them on my Christmas tree this year. And I'm sure the girls will probably use snowflakes as a prompt throughout. Sort of makes sense with the winter one. So then we'll have some snowflakes that I can incorporate into the panel. I've got that there ready. So that'll be really nice to be able to use that. And another page here. So they're all eliminated. Really like that one, but that'll be bits. That's one, but I think it's too big. might end up being a pocket. What else have we got? Let's really eliminate now. Too big, too big, too big. Maybe. Oh, that'll fit. Too big. Okay, so I've actually eliminated a few more. That's all right. Just means I can go hunting more, hey? That's classic grandma. She used to do that a lot. She'd get a little piece of linen and I don't know, it's nearly too big. Fiddling around here. That's a definite. That'll fit. Let's pin him. And maybe it's a case of this one that I'm breaking down gets popped in around all of these. Like so. And then I'm sort of at the end. Let's go back through. So that will be a title page. Spin that around. Okay, look, I'm getting confused. Let's look at this logically. Okay. So that will be the title page. That could be some doilies. Where's the cut one? Okay. Then that will flip over. So we've got six stitcheries, but I've used reindeer on the front, so technically I've only got 5 prompts. Is that right? No, we got 12. But I can add more pages. Sorry guys, I'm just thinking it through here a little bit. I'm going to take that back because I think when I open the book I'm going to want to see just a poof of colour. So that gives me 1, 2 stitcheries. 1, 2. Then we start flipping through, and this one technically should be over here because we're viewing our book landscape as well. So let's just think about this. So I'm going to actually unpin that, and the snowflake will go here. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. The snowflake will go up here. That's going to be a definite stitch down, that one. So there's a little project for me one evening. Let's get that big guy down. I'm not even 100% sure if she made that, to be honest. I just don't know about that tatting. Now that I've seen the tatting ones in amongst the bridal party or kitchen tea ones in my collection, I just wonder if that is man-made. But I know she did tatting, so I just don't know. Okay, so then that'd be a panel. So we're going to write number 3, but it could be just snowflake. Okay, so now we've got the opportunity to pin some here. So maybe I do that one. I don't know. It's tricky. Tricky. I do like this fine one, and I know it's her. But it's so big. Might just pin it there. Who knows where this will go. I don't have to make a decision now. as the book evolves and I have time to think it through, you know, who knows. But that could be a good pocket. So that one's a definite, I think, but we'll see. We'll just pin it for now. Okay. All right. This one here, I'm wondering, to me that looks a bit snowflakey, this little cutie. I'm thinking of moving him back to here. Yeah. Oh, so cute. Yeah. And I guess too, if the prompts are just, you know, inspiring, I can always take some of these doilies out and go, nah, you're gone. Like this one, yeah, it's gone. It's just so-so. Just don't know about that one. And I just feel like I've seen this before, maybe in an op shop. I don't know. I'm just going to put it to one side. I know that that's a definite. So where are we at? We've got a pocket stitchery. Page flips over. So where's our numbers? Goodness me, what's the time? I've nearly been here an hour. Mucking around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Love him. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I would have the back cover, could be 10. So I'm too short, so I can either add another signature or reduce my doily thing. This long one could go with this long one. And look, it's all just pinned at the moment. Nothing's set in stone. Yeah, I like those two. Can you see that? I like those two there. So let's pin that down. Now, if you're someone that doesn't like doilies, and they're not everyone's cup of tea, look away. You're probably thinking, that is just hideous. But I love them. If I had my way, I'd gather every doily I come across in the op shop and just grab it and preserve it. But there's just such a mix of machine-made ones and actuals that it can be really tricky to spot them. So I sort of just pick ones that I just love the pattern, and some I can chop up and some I'll just preserve. Let's caught the one underneath. Okay, I think that's probably it. And I've got my snowflake cutaway one that I can, you know, add to sort of put pops of things, like layers, like just like that. Just pin him there. Let's go back through. I didn't find a home for him, so I'm going to put him aside for now. Let's go back to the beginning of the book. So we've got 1, 2, 3 is the stitchery there. A potential pocket and maybe 4. That might go, and that could be another page. 4, 5, 6, 7. Could be doilies if I find more up at the farm. 8. There. I'm just going to move that piece over to center it. Let's pin that. Oh, I've got a hang of a mess here. Okay. Well, I'm going to be on the hunt for some more doilies, I think, especially little ones. I know I've got another container of them somewhere. I might go looking in that and find some smaller ones, because I could do with just some little ones. Maybe I do some of my own and then I've got a little bit of me in there, but we'll see. Got so much stitching to do, guys. This project has literally exploded. Okay, I'm happy with that, and I can always add another signature to get, what did we get up to? 10. 10. Okay, so that's pretty good. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm technically too short to do all prompts. There may be a prompt that doesn't catch me, or I just do a blue version of it, not a red. So there's certainly not, you know, need to do all 12, but I certainly have a lot of space going forward. And I'm happy with the doilies now. I've got different shapes. They're not just all rounds, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Yeah. And I've got this little guy up my sleeve to sort of either work into pieces or, you know, spread around the doily pages just as a sprinkling through the whole thing. Okay, happy with that. All right, that's enough fiddling around with doilies in Redbook. That's looking good, starting to pull together, you know, bits and pieces. Gee, I love that. So there's no reason why some of these other ones we don't work into the blue book as well in Stitcheries, or just even the snippet section, so they are not forgotten. All right, I'm going to stop the video there. 52 minutes, my goodness. All right, guys, I'll leave you in peace. Enjoy your day, and I will see you all soon. Bye.